Hello, this is the final project presentation for data mining assignment. My name is Asahi Cantu and I am collaborating with Amandreas. In this video, I will show you the code development, research and results performed over a selected data source titled COVID-19 Scientific Papers Analysis. This dataset was selected from Kaggle data source. It's titled COVID-19 Open Research Data Challenges, CORD-19. This dataset contains about 63,000 academic articles related to coronavirus, just about 9 gigabytes of compressed information. The motivation behind the selection of this dataset relies on the rapid spread of coronavirus and the amount of generated information over the last months. These factors generated the need to come with suitable tools that help the scientific community to better understand the disease and help the society in general to overcome it. It is also evident the need of scientists that understand the dimensions of this problem and can collaborate with the creation of software tools capable of dealing with such amount of information. In this exploratory data analysis, we can see we created the modules, proper modules to parse the information that came from the metadata sets. We have over 38,022 entries. This metadata.csv file contains all the indexes and key information of the articles. This JSON format is an extract of a PDF version. As you can see here, we have, after processing these units, over 37,273 records. So when coming to the document set transformation, we have JSON parsed data files, which are required to be transformed into a suitable and readable information for Python. In this case, we are processing these JSON files into data frames. You can see this later on our GitHub project. On the first stage, we decided to process the authors of the articles. The key questions were how many authors were participating in this project, and from which countries were these authors writing, and what was the amount of information these authors were contributing to. So as you can see here, we have now the extracted data frame of authors and the general information over this data frame. So we can see that over 37,957 records were extracted from this dataset. Now we can see the articles extracted from the JSON formats. After the authors, the articles were also extracted. The columns contain all the metadata and information from the corresponding articles. Important features for these articles are the hash identifier, which is unique for each one of the elements, the body, and the abstract. The upcoming features were generated over the development of this notebook. Let's explore the information related to the authors. You will see here a long dictionary, actually, of elements that were extracted from the author's country. It was really challenging for the team to realize the procedence of each author and corresponding article, and as a result, we ended up creating this long list corresponding to all the possible entries of the metadata corresponding to the countries. So we processed this list to standardize the information related to the countries of each author, which finally led us to this data frame called by country. You can see here now standardized elements. Notice we also had to identify the countries by its alpha value, and this simplified the grouping and the aggregation of the elements. After performing this technique, we processed visually the information. So what you will see here is an overview of the total number of participations in the papers by country. the nationality of each author, and how many times the authors contributed to the papers. So you can see here that United States is the one with the most contributions, followed by China, France, United Kingdom, Canada, Japan, Germany, Korea, Italy, Taiwan, among others. After finding out the authors, we decided to explore the article set. We decided to ask ourselves, once we know the procedence and nationality of different authors, what are the languages of each article? We performed the necessary tasks to answer these questions. We performed some NLP techniques to identify the language of each article, and we got rid of just articles that were not making complete sense. So as you can see here, we have a distribution, a histogram of dominant language over the whole article set. You can see here that the number of articles written in English is over 30,000. When removing English from this set, we can see as well that the predominant language is French on one side and Spanish as well. And this is really important because over 300 articles have been written into these languages. But for the purpose of this research, we are just discarding all articles that are not written in English. So now we come to the pre-processing functions implementation, which is basically the NLP transformation of our article body data. The natural language processing tools we employ was lemmatization, word stemming, and just basically removing the unnecessary characters over our whole set. We found out that over the top 500 words are among 250 points of measurement of importance in terms of frequency. So by this, we can assume that it may be possible to perform an unsupervised technique to classify all the corpus into different clusters, because most of them may share similar words, but as well have different features that can easily make them identifiable. So we perform this task. For that, we just developed some word cloud functions that helps us understand what kind of topics are these articles talking about. Because of this situation, we assume we may have a significant amount of features. So we started with a dimensionality reduction algorithm. We apply principal component analysis to basically just reduce the features and preserve 95% of information. And later on, we employed a k-means algorithm to find the most suitable number of clusters that will help us to classify optimally our dataset. We chose the elbow method to find the suitable amount of clusters and allows us to find the optimal number of clusters. The optimal relies over 23 clusters approximately, and this was the number to classify our information. We trained the algorithms for k-means with such number of clusters and have the prediction for each document to what cluster it would belong. After properly classifying our dataset, we decided to reduce it, simplify it to perform an easy visualization over our full dataset. We use the T-distributed stochastic network embedding algorithm to reduce the dimensions of our clusters and make easier the visualization of the whole corpus set. So we can see here we have over 23 different clusters properly categorized and allocated into a dimensional space. The final product of this report is the development of an interactive dashboard using Bokeh that contains the relevant information for each article. I'm getting easier identification of each cluster. And not only that, but I'm getting as well the URL of the document, the title, the authors, and the abstract of the article. This was our final project. This whole dashboard and chart is fully available on our GitHub project. Thank you very much for reaching up to this point. We hope you have enjoyed our project, and feel free to collaborate or add any comments in the channel, as well as contribute if you feel like you have some improvements to our given code. Thank you, and see you next time.